My name is Kara Adams, and I want to welcome you to Hidden Treasure Moments. This is a podcast about normal, everyday, beautiful people that have experienced just life-altering events and really about how they made it through. Our goal is to give you hope, to give you enlightenment, to make you laugh a little bit, but most of all, to show you that no matter what you're going through today, tomorrow is a new day. That when you wake up in the morning, you will see that the sun is shining and that things will get better. A little bit about me. I am a mother, I'm a wife, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm a cancer survivor. And I think all of those things together have made me into who I am today. So I really work to find the treasure out of every single moment that has happened in my life, whether it be good or whether it be bad. And I'm just feeling really blessed to be here. And I want to thank you all for joining in. I'm so excited. And I want to introduce my guest today, who is actually a beautiful woman that I've met recently. She is with the Susan G. Komen Los Angeles affiliate chapter, and she also has an amazing story. Her name is Terri Brooks. She is an athlete. She is an entrepreneur. She is a CEO of an amazing foundation called Lonsville. Help me.
World of Lonsville.
Okay. Terri, can you say hello and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, good morning. Number one, thank you for having me. It is an honor. It's a pleasure. It's a joy. Congratulations on your book, Hidden Treasure, and definitely your show. I'm so proud of you. Truly have been an inspiration for me.
Oh, Terri, thank you.
Thank you for having me. A little bit about myself. A single mother of three beautiful girls, Ajalan, Milan, and Elon, which is the World of Lonsville Foundation. That's how it came about, the name. A breast cancer survivor, went through a traumatic divorce, and
during treatment.
During being diagnosed, I just looked in the mirror and didn't see who I normally would see, and felt that this just wasn't a positive environment for me being in the marriage. So decided to go ahead and file for a divorce, but didn't have a plan. But while going through being diagnosed with breast cancer and trying to figure out how to provide and take care of my three daughters because they were young at the time, but made it through. And
tell us when you were diagnosed so that, everyone could get an idea of like how long ago we're talking about.
Okay, so I recently not recently, but 2015 to me is still recently, but 2015 is when I was diagnosed. Prior to that, I actually felt the lump. So when I went in to have my mammogram, I said, I feel something on my right breast. And it came back that it was negative. They didn't see anything, but did call me back just to take precautions because I did say something. Went back again. They said, no, there's a lot of calcium deposits, but we don't see anything. So just was, feeling like something's not right. Your body. And so I was speaking with someone, and to this day, I just can't remember who it was, but they said, you need to go to the Corona Imaging Center. I had all of my doctors out in Long Beach because I am originally from Long Beach. And I did. And when I went there, they did a mammogram, but they also did an ultrasound mammogram. And that's when they detected that it was possibly breast cancer, but I needed to do the biopsy.
See, I'm such a big advocate of you being your own best advocate.
Yes.
Because, so many times, we know something's not right.
Correct.
But, we don't listen to our own intuition.
Right.
And what could have been, an early diagnosis ends up being a little bit more aggressive, a little further in stage, because I believe in my medical team, but I also believe that God has given a voice.
That's
He's
right.
whispering in my ear to help me save my own life. So kudos on you doing that, because everyone doesn't do that. You think, oh, well, they didn't see anything, but look at where you are now.
Right.
And so what stage were you in? Tell us a little bit about the diagnosis and kind of the technical part of it.
Okay, so that day after they said maybe it might be breast cancer, and it was kind of weird, and I tell this story because it's kind of funny, and I said, well, okay, let me know what I need to do because I have a date. So I need to...
With your husband or someone else?
No, I was going through a divorce at the time.
Okay.
When I was diagnosed, I was actually going through a divorce.
Oh.
I had filed 2012 and felt the lump probably about 2013. So it was a while before they even detected that I had breast cancer. But the lump was protruding out.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it was. And my girl said, Mom, you have a knot on your breast. And I said, I know. And in my spirit, I knew. I knew it was breast cancer. So the radiologist, he looked at me and he said, okay. I said, well, you know what? My faith is going to carry me through and I'm going to get through this. I need to go home and get dressed. So you guys call me, let me know which appointments I need to take. So
wow,
we never heard that response before.
That wasn't mine.
I know. I didn't respond like that. So I love your book. It's so, just transparent and you are there and raw and I love it. But I said, okay. And so after that, my mentor from my church at the time, Friendship Baptist Church, she went with me and a girlfriend who was an attorney so they can take notes and just kind of make sure we're gathering all the information necessary. So after the biopsy, they said, yes, it is breast cancer. And it was in my lymph nodes as well. And I was stage 3B.
Oh, wow.
I was, because it had been a while before finally someone said, okay, it's breast cancer. And then it was a journey even finding a doctor to even perform the surgery.
I know. Why is that? You would think like, okay, I have breast cancer. Like,
yes,
the next step is obviously having surgery. Like, why was that hard?
It was. And I think it's a part of the journey that God entrusted me with this. And I always say it was never really for me. It was for me to go out and be able to help other women. So going through this journey, having to fight to find a doctor, it just almost seemed insane for me. And so finally, my primary, they found my doctor. They said, you can go anywhere you want to go at this point. Because when I was diagnosed, there were maybe a few of my other girlfriends who were diagnosed at the same time. Everyone had had surgery but me.
Oh, my gosh.
And we're talking about from early March, and I didn't have my surgery until June. Waiting and waiting. Yes. Having to wait. And that's why you have to be your own advocate and you have to keep pushing to get what you want. So,
yes.
But finally we found Dr. Attar, who's an amazing doctor, and he was the one who performed the surgery and did my mastectomy.
And now, did you have a bilateral or did you have a single?
I originally had a single. They did the right breast, took the right breast, and then they took the lymph nodes, pretty much all of my lymph nodes. And he said he wanted me to wait and to heal. And I said, I'm in agreement with that because I trusted him that much. The moment I met him, I said, he's the one.
Yeah.
And he wasn't pushing me into chemo or radiation because I had already made up my mind I wasn't going to do either.
Yeah.
And so he said, okay, but the oncologist that I had wasn't going to sign off on the surgery because he wanted me to do chemo. And I said, no. I said, I'm going to come down there. If I have to come down there, you're going to sign off on these papers. And then my doctor was on the phone with me and he said, you know your body. So I'll go ahead and sign off on it. But then,
wow.
This has been a journey. Most people say, oh, we go to surgery, we get it taken. Oh, I had to fight for surgery. I had to fight to find a doctor. There was doctors who said, if I can't understand why you don't want to do chemotherapy. If my mom told me that, I'd slap her. And my girlfriend and I said, this is our time to exit.
That's not the right doctor for you.
That's not the right doctor for me.
And now, for me, I never even thought that like not doing chemo was an issue, was an opportunity, I guess I would say. What was your thinking behind it? Like, for me, watching some of the people who I know go through chemotherapy and radiation, like I felt like the cancer isn't what hurt them, did them in. It was really, I had a couple of good friends who passed away, and it was the side effects of chemo.
Right.
Which I didn't, it didn't dawn on me that the chemotherapy could kill me faster than the cancer.
That is correct.
And so tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the day I had my appointment with my oncologist, my girlfriend went with me, and she was an attorney who prosecuted oncologists.
What?
For giving out false and fake chemo. Yes.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, it is. It is throughout the United States. So as we walked in, she immediately said, I hope you're not on my list. And the interesting thing was she was a prosecutor in the city of Riverside.
That's where I live.
That's where in Corona, Riverside County.
Yeah.
So yes, that was her job. And he immediately was really nervous. So she said, I have my list right here. So we're going to sit down and go over everything. And so he said, she goes, well, no, you're not on my list, but I do want to let you know what I do for a living. And so immediately I think he was intimidated. But as he went over, and I still have it in my journal, I wrote everything out. She was taking notes of the chemotherapy that I would need. And I finally looked over it and I looked at him. I said, is this for me? And he said, yes. I said, are you sure? Or is this just what you give out generally? Because this can't be for me. I wouldn't make it through. I just felt I wouldn't make it through. But even still, my mother was diagnosed with cancer. They said breast, and they said that it was Hodgkin's lymphoma. It was in the breast. It's breast cancer. But long story short, I was the one taking her to all her chemotherapy appointments.
So you saw.
I saw it all. I had to wash her hair. It was in my hands. I saw how ill she was. I took her to her radiation appointments and where it burned her throat and she couldn't even swallow or eat. And I just said, if that were ever me, I wouldn't do it because God knows my last day on this earth and I trust him that much. And so my oncologist said to me, I know you're kind, the religious kind. I said, it's my faith and it's a relationship that I have with Christ and he will get me through, and by his stripes I am healed. So I have no worries.
Oh, wow.
And that was just, I didn't have any fear. I was not going to let it get me.
Yes. You know? And now you've been cancer free for how long?
Since 2015.
Wow.
Yes.
The glory goes to God.
Yes. All honor is due to him.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So
and so, like, what are you doing now to stay healthy? And before I digress, because you know, I'm like a squirrel or I'm like a dog, and I'll be like squirrel, like.
Me too. Me too.
So there was something you said that's really interesting to me about your attorney, your girlfriend who's an attorney.
Yes.
And like, is she still practicing? Like, if viewers or listeners are like, oh my goodness, I need to know somebody like that because of something that I went through or something that my family member went through. Like, is she currently practicing? You know, is she available for consultation?
She isn't. She was actually on other cases, like the Armstrong case back then and so forth. But then she took a break so she can do event planning. So she's so talented. Yeah, it does. And she was traveling so much, but was able to adopt two beautiful girls. So she wanted to kind of transition into something else.
Okay.
But there's so much information out there. You would be surprised how many stories from North Carolina to Chicago to here about how many doctors. I mean, that's sometimes how they get paid. So, and it's not all doctors, of course not. But you just have to know and feel whether this is right or this isn't right.
Yes.
And so, go and do your research.
Yeah. Well, we're at about the point where we take a quick break. But what I want to do when we come back is talk a little bit more about your relationship with your husband, with your ex-husband, and, you know, really how your treatment and how your diagnosis really kind of pushed you to make that final decision. Like, you know, I really want to kind of get into that and talk about that and like how you are still standing, like knowing everything you've come through, going through a divorce while you're going through treatment, you know, raising 3 beautiful girls. Like, how are you still here? So when we come back, you know, from our really quick break, then that's what we'll talk about.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
welcome back. This is Hidden Treasure Moments. It's our podcast. Again, if you weren't here in the beginning, we really take the time to get to know, I say, everyday people who've lived through extraordinary circumstances. My guest today is Terri Brooks. And where we left off was really the relationship with your husband, now ex-husband, kind of during your treatment, and what made you kind of make the decision to, leave, to kind of make such a final decision?
I just felt there was so much stress that I was enduring during the marriage, and I didn't want my girls to really be reared in a home that wasn't positive. Because I wanted them to feel that they were strong women and that they could excel. And my oldest, who is 13 now, bless her little heart, she came to me at 5. And she said, I need to talk to you. And I can remember so vividly where I was in the family room. And I looked at this little face and I said, okay, because she's my one. I call her my vice president. She's my vice president.
Cute.
And so I said, okay. And she said, you know what? I don't like what I see around here.
I think that's God talking through her.
Yes.
My son did the same thing, not about my husband, but about me.
Okay. Oh, kids know. They just have this heart and passion and the sense of discernment. And she has it. And she says, you're always in charge. You do everything. And I feel as though Dad's not involved. Dad doesn't do this. And I thought, man, she nailed it. But I'm not going to tell her that.
Yeah.
And so
at 5, crazy.
She came to me and I just said, okay. And I made a decision that I wanted to be happy in my life. I wanted to find a mate that would be there with me when we retire and sip coffee and travel, and watching my parents have, before my mother passed, a beautiful marriage. They did everything together. They get up and they have coffee together. They laugh together. They have their dentist appointments together. They go to the post office together. And I wanted that. So I felt I didn't have that. And at this time, this was the time, if I was going to leave, was going to be the time.
Yeah.
And so that was it. And so when I filed, and then he didn't really know I was going through being diagnosed. I was just going to different appointments because at that point we weren't even speaking. Still in the same house.
Oh.
Yeah, it was
super toxic.
It was very toxic. And I just kept going and kept going. And I had wonderful friends and my family and godparents. And I just said, I have to go. I have to keep moving forward. I can't look back. And going through different counseling sessions, and I would tell them, honestly, I am not here to work on a marriage. I'm here to be honest, to tell the whole story, because they said, we can't help them if you don't come. And so I said, okay, well, I will come to tell my story, but I'm not here to work on the marriage. I'm done. And so that was pretty much it. So when
How long were you married?
I would have been, by the time the divorce was final in 2015, after I had surgery, would have been 15 years.
Oh, wow.
15 years. So, but I didn't have support of a spouse or anyone there besides my family, of course. But he never acknowledged that I had cancer, never acknowledged that I was going through it, never said anything. When I had surgery, and this is my story, I came back with the girls and it looked like somebody had burglarized our home. And I just grabbed them and I looked around with tears in my eyes and they were afraid. But he came in while I had surgery and took half of the furniture and removed a lot of the items from the house. And I thought, wow, who would do this? I mean, God kind of just gave me that, no, your home wasn't burglarized. This was the doing of him. So I said, okay. And I told the girls, we're okay. We're fine. I wanted to make sure they knew they were safe and secure. And that moment, it was just always something.
Yeah.
Just something. And I just said, you know what? He's not going to get me down. You know what? I just had this surgery and I'm going to beat it. I'm going to make it. I don't know how. God has me. Psalms 91. He's covering me. We're going to be okay.
And that is really interesting that you say that. In the beginning, I saw cancer as the beginning of the end. Like I saw it as, this is something that, people don't always make it from.
Right.
And, when when we had to tell my son and when my husband was consoling me, it was like, okay, no, I'm not looking at this right. I have to be here for my kid.
That's right.
I have to be here for my husband. Like, God has put me on this earth to be a messenger and to do the good work. I didn't know what that would look like, but I knew that dying was not an option, that it was not my time. And so I say that all to say that, I now see that for me, cancer was an awakening. It was that God was talking to me and he was like, Kara. And finally he was like, Kara, girl, are you listening to me? And so that's how I see it now. And I think, how dare I not do his work? How dare I not talk to women and be as open and transparent, because we don't talk like this.
We don't get to.
We don't support each other like this. We support each other when we're doing good and getting raises. And, if the man don't act right, then girl, put your FM dress on, girl.
Right.
Go to the club. But I want to be able to provide a platform that spiritually, that intellectually, that physically helps women and shows them that we can endure.
That's right.
We can survive and we can thrive.
Yes.
And so that really gets me and really transitions me really well into what is your I'm still standing moment? When was everything, and I like to look at it at the bottom, when was everything so bad that you finally looked around and was like, wait a minute, I'm still standing. Yes. Everything is crumbling around my feet and I am still here.
Yes, it's emotional.
Please, girl, you cry. We're all friends here.
I might lose these eyelashes if I cry.
I'll know where they are. I'll help you find them.
They're on, but they might go away. But the moment I realized I was still standing was actually last year. Going through the divorce and almost losing my home, having to sell it and leave, and still now trying to transition to finding a home. And then going through having the surgery of the implants, my body was rejecting it, could barely walk. Before, let's see, where are we? 2008, 2017, could barely walk. But then I get a call in March. I'm at Disneyland with my daughter. It's my dad. And my mom passed away. And he had to break it to me. He said, this is the worst news I'm going to have to give you. Your mom just passed away. And I sat there and I thought, wow, how could this happen? Where did this come from? And the moms who I'm really close with just surrounded me. And I can just remember just letting out this cry. And it hurts. And right on Main Street. There was no fireworks that day, but I think I was the main attraction because I couldn't bring it in. Finally, I took a deep breath and I just said to my friends, I need a place to pray. And I went to the restroom and that's where I prayed. And I said, God, what I know is you don't make mistakes. As much as I love my mother and she was my best friend and my everything, and she adored me that much, I told my dad, we're going to make it through this. You and I together, we're going to make it through. And I still felt like I was trying to stand, but then 3 months later, my grandmother passed away, and I had to bury my grandmother, and I was caring for my grandmother. I was helping my mom, but then I felt 3 months later, I couldn't even take care of my own grandmother, but she was 91 with some illnesses. But after I went through that, I said to myself, I'm still standing by the grace of God. Nobody but God. I said I went through cancer, body shutting down, couldn't walk. I couldn't even comb my hair or put my clothes on. My girls would have to help me. It was the breast cancer illness or breast implant illness that my body was shutting down from. And after all the deaths and having cancer and going through a bad divorce, about to lose my home, I said, I am still standing by the grace of God. I can conquer anything I set my mind to. There's nothing that can come in my path that I can't hurdle over. And that's the point I knew the strength God had given me. I didn't even know I had. And it was teachers and principals kept saying, you have amazing strength. You have this. And I would always respond by saying, I'm still standing by the grace of God. So when I read that you were going to talk about that, I was like, oh, yes. Yes. So.
Oh, my goodness. See, you got us up here crying.
Sorry.
Oh, no, girl, don't cry. Don't cry. These are happy tears.
Yes, they are.
These are happy. These are, that this good work, that somebody is hearing it and somebody is thinking, if Terri can go through that, I can go through what I'm going through. And that I know without a shadow of a doubt that your mom is looking down and thinking, go girl. That's my girl. That's my baby. Go.
Oh my gosh. She was my biggest fan.
Oh.
She was. I know she's smiling down. I remember the day I had to go over to see my grandmother, and we had hospice nurses that would come in. And this guy, Dennis, I hadn't met him yet because the other nurse had to leave to go with her husband to another state or whatever the case may be. And he just grabbed me and he said, I know all about you. He said, your mom always spoke about you. And she said, my daughter can do anything. She said her mind too. And he says, I know about your foundation. I know about this. And he said, I'm so excited because she was always so excited. And I said, she was an amazing woman. And she pumped me up to be and do anything I wanted to set my mind to.
Oh,
so.
Well, I am here to witness how amazing you are, everything that you've been through. I'd love to hear a little bit more about your foundation, what inspired you to do it. I want you to talk a little bit about your boxes.
Okay.
So that I really want to get a good idea of what that is and maybe, how a listener could help and how they could donate to your cause or, volunteer for putting the boxes together or maybe donating product for it. So if you could tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, the World of Lawnsville started out me just helping out homeless and helping those who needed a home or needed to be fed. And God had given me this vision. This was before I was even diagnosed with breast cancer. But then as I was diagnosed with breast cancer, then I kind of changed everything as far as helping women. The World of Lawnsville just doesn't focus on breast cancer, but it also focuses on single moms with children who can't find their way. So whether it's a divorce or maybe they've even lost the spouse to death or whatever the case may be, my goal is that no woman is left behind and that they don't have to go through financial difficulties that I had to with my girls, trying to figure it out, that if we can all pull together, we can help one another out. So that's a portion of it. But the breast cancer portion of it is helping women to understand being their own advocate, taking care of their body, making sure they're healthy, going out feeling like you are a supermodel, even if you're going through chemotherapy. Because really being positive is, I would say, more than 50% of the battle and the journey.
For sure.
So, but making sure I can be there however I can. I recently just had my first annual Christmas party for 3 little boys who lost their mother to breast cancer, and she was 26. And it was an amazing time just to see people to come and donate the toys and the bikes. And the grandmother was in tears. I was in tears. But it was something someone had done for me and my girls. And I wanted to be able to pay it forward and give back. So we just try to help wherever we can. Currently, I'm helping. I just sent a note this morning to a woman who was diagnosed, and she kind of already had given her children the speech that she may not make it. And I said, please call me.
Yeah.
I said, I'm a breast cancer survivor, and you can make it. Let me tell you my story. And it's a friend of my friend who her daughter goes to the same dance studio.
Okay.
So they're presenting her with a blanket and everything today. I wanted to present my box, but I told them I already had a commitment. But just to encourage women and try to help them out, be there for kids. I have friends who are barbers to help haircuts. I have a friend who is a head coach. He allows the kids to come in for practice, and we go to the games, and we talked about that. So just trying to make sure that they're not alone.
Yes.
And even if they've lost their mother, there's a team of people who we love you too. We're here to support, and we're here to help you, and whatever we can do to make the journey less stressful.
And you know what I did not, I have grown so much because of the journey. And I didn't really see how a community, a support group, how, having people who love you, support you, stand up for you when you can't stand up for yourself, how important it is really to your treatment, to your diagnosis, to your, you making it through something so devastating, that could be, whether it's cancer, whether it's divorce, whether it's losing a loved one. And so having organizations like yours to show not only the person going through it, but their family, that there is a community that they can count on that will love them and support them and help them through these tough times.
That's right.
I believe in my heart, that's how we change the world.
That's right.
That when we show kids and we show other individuals that there is love, there is caring, that we can cherish one another and we can all rise together.
Yes.
Like, who cares about the political climate?
Right.
Who cares who won the last basketball game or the football game? Even though, my family was up in arms about it. But if you can see that there's a support group of people who love you and who can help you through, and when you are feeling negative, when you're gripping the toilet thinking there's no way you're going to get back up, that we show you, yes, you will. Yes, you can. And yes, you are going to.
That's
because
right.
that is how life and how God works. And I think that is absolutely, I love it. I'm going to jump to a break in just a second. But before we do that, what types of things actually go in the box that you give? So if someone wants to donate something, that they know what would be appropriate.
Okay, so my boxes are, I have renamed them after my mother. So now they're Betty Lou's Fight with No Fear cancer boxes.
That's a long name.
Yes, it is, but I had to put her name in there.
Okay, Betty Lou, let's go.
Betty Lou. So it's Fight with No Fear, to let the women know this here is a symbol that you're going to fight with no fear, to persevere. So in those boxes, they change all the time. Could be a CD with raindrops, the serene background music. There's a satin cap. It could be mouthwash. It's the breast cancer deodorant. There's a mug. There could be a bracelet. There's so many different things that can be put into these boxes that just can, put a smile on a woman's face. So if anyone wants to donate, that's a blessing. I am going to need help with these boxes because Susan G. Komen wants to partner with me to get these boxes out. So now I have to give more boxes
Susan
out.
G. Komen.
Yay, Susan G. Komen. So, but anything anyone wants to donate, my website is theworldoflawnsville.org.
And how do you spell that?
It's world, WORLD, and then OF, and then Lawnsville. It's LON, which is part of my girl's name, the end of their name, and then Ville, VILLE.org.
And then I'll also put it on my Facebook page I'll put it in the comment section to make it easy for people to donate. I'm donating my book, however many books you need.
So excited.
Let me know so that people can hear, they can feel maybe a sense of strength from my journey and from other women's journeys. And so as we go to the break, I want you to think about, what would the big you today tell the little you of yesterday to help them to cope with everything that you've been through? Not necessarily to not go through what you went through, but just to give them a sense of hopeless, no. Some courage. Yeah, we'll just go with that. Yes. Sometimes it's still got chemo brain. But, to give them some encouragement or to give the big you some encouragement of how to make it through. Okay. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. tuning back in. Again, this is Hidden Treasure Moments podcast. I am Kara Adams, and my guest today is Terri Brooks. And we left off talking about what would the big you tell the little you to inspire them to continue going with whatever they're going through.
The big me would tell the little me that look what you've accomplished. Look what you have made it through. Keep moving forward. And not that I don't want to look back,
Right.
because you want to see that the journey has brought me to where I am today. But I can't go back and get the things that I've lost. I can't go back and get this. My dad always says you can't unring the bell.
Oh, that's true.
And it is so true. But that look what you've done by being positive. Look what you have figured out along the journey of how to take care of you, how to take care of your children. Don't allow any rocks or roadblocks to get in your way, and know that you can hurdle over them and that you're still here. And look where you've come from. Look where you are now, and you're still going, and it's still working itself out.
Yeah.
But you're fine. So take it, be positive, don't be negative, and take the energy to use it to be a blessing to somebody else.
Amen. Absolutely. You know, it's funny. Each week, you know, this is our second podcast.
Yay.
So excited. Whoa, whoa, oh my God. But, you know, I want to say like what the big me would tell the little me. And as I was thinking about it when we were preparing for the show today, you know, I think that changes for me depending on the day and the time. And so for me, you know, it was that when I was going through it, I kept questioning God. Like I kept like, God, why am I the sick one? Like, I don't do drugs. I don't smoke.
Yeah.
I eat healthy. I work out. Like, I felt like cancer was that I caused my cancer, that there was something I could have done to maybe prevent it, you know, and that it wasn't necessarily, you know, part of my journey that God had set up for me. And so, you know, today, the big me would tell the little me, don't ask God, Lord, what else could go wrong? Like,
Right. Yeah. No.
don't do that, because that's what I was really doing. You know, I could remember saying like, why is this all happening to me? You know, I was going through a really tough patch with Troy, with my husband. You know, we had infidelity issues. I didn't know, like, I felt like it was me, like I wasn't enough. And that what he was going through and his cheating, that, you know, I made it about me instead of allowing it to be about him. I felt like I could control it. And then I had a girlfriend who I had known since high school. She died from breast cancer. You know, she had had 2 stints with it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, what else could go wrong? And then I started to hate my job.
Read that.
Really hated my boss. Like, once I don't respect you, it just all goes downhill. Once I see like it, but you know, that's something I'm working on in me because I'm a perfectionist. And so as soon as I start to see a crack or a flaw, you know, I disregard your intelligence, which is a character flaw, which I'm working on. I recognize sometimes they say, oh, you know, when you're a perfectionist, that's good. But it can be unhealthy, and it could be destructive as well. Like if there's not a yin and a yang and a balance to it.
Yes.
And, you know, and I started to see like I kept asking. And so then I started to hate my job. And then when you hate your job, it's obvious. And, you know, my boss would be like, Kara, like, is everything okay? And, you know, and then finally we found out that they were downsizing and they were letting go of our entire marketing department. And I'm talking about regionally because I was at a regional level. And I was like, God, what else could go wrong?
Yeah.
And so then I went and I got another job really quickly and, you know, but I never mourned my other job. I never really grew from what was happening to me or what I felt was happening to me. I didn't see that I was part of that problem. And so I was still like, what else? What else? And then I, have my son is an infant and he keeps getting sick and we keep having to go to the emergency with him because he has MRSA. And this, I'm not a doctor. Please do not follow my instructions. But but at the third trip to the ER, my baby was getting sicker and sicker, and they're pumping him more and more full of antibiotics. And he was getting so sick, he was getting yeast infections as a toddler. It's like like a little baby. And so finally I said, I'm not doing this. And I looked up holistic remedies, and I got some Manuka honey. And I put Manuka honey on a bandage, put it on his sore. Within 2 or 3 days, it had something in the honey, like it pulls out this particular virus. Okay. Never had to go back. Never had to give him antibiotics again. But it was like, at some point, you have to believe in your own abilities to care for yourself and your kids and your loved ones. And our society is built on big pharma. Like, don't even get me started with big pharma. Like, where now they're trying to regulate, marijuana. Like, it's just, okay, I digress. But I do it all the time. But really the point in it all is, like, because I kept asking and because I kept feeling like a victim, I wasn't seeing that I wasn't learning this big lesson. And I kept saying to myself, like, it can't get worse. God, what else could happen till finally I get diagnosed with cancer? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop asking that.
Right. Yeah. It's like, no more.
I'm not doing that no more. This is not working out for me. I'm only getting sicker.
Yeah.
Every time I ask, it gets worse. So,
oh my God.
So finally I've gotten to the point where, and we were talking about this a little bit on break, is that I see myself differently. I see life as a learning opportunity.
That's
Everything that happens to me, good and bad, I look at what was my role in it. How can I learn from it? And how can I be a better person because of it?
Yes.
Like every single time. And I feel like I'm that big, tall palm tree with that big, huge head. And like I'm swaying in the wind. And like, I'm not going to sing the song. I was thinking like, we are the world. Okay, sorry, can't help myself. But I envision that that's who I am, that I am strong, I'm enduring, that God has given me deep roots to persevere and to be the woman that I'm supposed to be and to be the messenger that I'm supposed to be. And so the little, the big me would tell the little me, like, stop questioning.
Yeah.
Like at some point you just have to do. You have to do your best and know that you will learn along the way. That failure is just about the lesson. Like, I don't really see it as me truly failing unless I didn't learn anything from it.
That's right.
Like, if I don't learn anything, I don't get better at it. I don't become a better mom, a better wife. Like, then it truly was a failure. But other than that, like, girl, you just do you.
I enjoy every day.
Yeah. Stop questioning.
Yes.
And feel a sense of gratefulness that I woke up this morning.
That's
gratefulness that I'm looking super cute in this orange.
Yes,
in my
you are.
head.
That's my favorite color. Oh my goodness.
But really, and that leads me into kind of what I want to do for the world and for women. I talk about it. I will talk about it every single week, that we are putting on a VIP gym retreat. It's going to be in Riverside. My husband was like, don't tell him everything. Keep him guessing, because he was here.
Yes.
He was here last week telling me what to do like always. Hey, baby, I know you're listening.
Hello.
You are. Through the years, I've realized how smart you really are. But, the gym retreat, it is really to just embrace women, embrace our community. Let women know that it is okay to be selfish. It's okay to love yourself. It's okay to take 5 minutes to put your makeup on, take an hour to get your hair done. Like now, I tell myself it's okay if my husband and my son eat McDonald's or eat Taco Bell for dinner when I'm getting my hair done. Like, I can't control it all and I don't want to anymore. And so that's what that day is about. It's about loving each other. It's about letting each other, letting us be ourselves. You could wear sweats. You could do whatever you want, but it's a day to glorify, to, love each other, lift each other up, and have an amazing day that is just about us as selfish as we want to be. So it's on May 11th. It's a full day. It's 8:30 or 9 o'clock until 4 or 5 o'clock. We're going to provide amazing food, and it's just a great day of connection. So that's my little spotlight on our VIP retreat that is coming up. And now we're going to start to kind of wind down and talk about, I always think about treasures in the things in life that I treasure. And it's funny, I have a business coach, and she's kind of a life coach, and she's like, what's the word that just always has kind of rolled around in your head? Like when things are quiet, what is God telling to you? What is kind of that message that he constantly is trying to have you kind of absorb and take on as your own? And when I was thinking about that, it was treasure. That he kept telling me that I am a treasure. I need to treat myself as a treasure. I need to love and adore myself like a treasure. So that's where hidden treasure came from. It came from that I was kind of hiding my treasures because I felt like, if I was too big, people wouldn't like me. If I was too bold, that I couldn't please people because they saw me as a certain way. And so the things in life for me that I treasure are really my openness, my ability to be transparent and to let people in and to let them see the real me. And also, my family. My husband he's my absolute rock. I love and I adore him. I treasure my relationship, my growing relationship with God. I treasure that he speaks to me through my son all the time, like what you were saying about your daughter when she was 5. Yes. My son would sit on the couch while my husband and I would be talking, and he'd be like, "Mommy, you don't believe in yourself, Mommy." And I'd be like, "What?" And he was like, "Mommy, like you don't believe in the things that you're saying." And he would get so deep. Like one time I remember him saying, "Oh, okay, so I'm not really good at this, but I see we have a call. First call ever." Oh, earphones. Okay. This is new. Hello, I am Kara. Who is this?
They're Muhammad.
Oh, hello.
I'd like to say good morning to you.
Good
and
morning.
I'd like to say good morning when wait till you get your earphones on.
Okay, got them
I'd like
on.
to say good morning to you. And you, okay. So I would like to tell you, you're doing a beautiful thing. And when you have a retreat, and I used to be with the anti-women versus men thing very young in my life, but I'm 60 years old, senior now.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see more of people of our color do this and get the sisterhood together the way it should be together versus speaking it, doing it. And you are totally right when it comes down to the pharmaceuticals. And I'm not a doctor neither. I am a priest, an African priest. That's what I claim in the universe. So I can speak on the medical, I can speak on the principles of spirituality, and I can speak on the principle of our mental state. And what you are doing is what every woman should be doing in every state to get our sisters together to make us understand the greatest trick has ever been played on humanity has been played on us. And until we do that, we're not going to solve, because you don't bring a gorilla from Africa without bringing his food. They brought us from Africa, and they didn't bring our food. And that's what we're suffering from. We understand mentally what we take in and dissolve, how it affects us, positive or negative, but we have never understood what the food that we put in our system. And so, to you, two beautiful queens,
oh, thank you.
I'll be calling you on a regular when your show is on. I like the vision of what Mrs. Morris is doing. I could help her in a certain kind of way as far as the vision coming over YouTube, and I'll be talking to her. Matter of fact, I helped one of her hosts to get his life together years ago. Now, he don't trade back, of course, but Mr. Toomer is a dear friend of mine. And so I tell you two sisters, keep doing what you're doing. It's going to start off slow because it's hard for us to take positive information other than the stuff that we've been regurgitating for the last 200 years. So when something new comes, it takes us a while. But you know what? We all want to be happy, and we all like a winner. And the truth will always win.
Thank you. Thank you for being our first caller. This just means so much to me. I know I'm in my mission. I know that God is smiling, that we have all come together. And so thank you so much. And I look forward to your calls every single week. I'm on at 10:30 to 11:30 on Thursday. So thank you so much.
And I will be posting your show on my Facebook page. People are like, I worked in the acting field for almost 15 years, so I do have some little followers. So this is the kind of stuff.
Thank you so much. It means so much. It means so much.
Keep that smile. It's just like the sun.
Okay, thank you. And I will talk to you next week. Okay, you too.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
How exciting. Oh my gosh. Yay.
Okay, we got high five on that one.
Like over a second, like, oh my gosh,
Okay.
Wow.
So I said all that. Thank you so much for the call. We welcome calls. We welcome kind of your feedback and your knowledge. It's just beautiful. And, to kind of come to a close and help bring us to an end, Terri, what do you treasure?
I treasure my relationship with Christ. It's me and God forever. And the fact that he gave me joy, that is my word that I always keep close to my heart. I can wake up with joy in my heart. I can go to bed with joy in my heart and wake up with a smile that I can go out and help as many women, children, men, whomever, and that God gives me the know-how and he gives me the power and the strength to do so. I tell my girls in the morning after we pray, go and make it a great day with great choices, but see how you can help a classmate. See how you can help your teacher and make somebody's day grand, because you just never know where somebody is in their journey and what they may need from just a simple smile or a kind gesture or a nice hug. But joy is, I'm so at peace with everything that I've gone through. God has just really given me peace. And I'm so grateful for that. I really am. I really am. Just being a child of God.
Yay. It's beautiful. Is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Yes, I have so many people to thank. Of course, my Lord and Savior, number one, because I'm still standing. But my wonderful Father, who has always been there for me, and I am who I am because of him. Definitely Friendship Baptist Church. We lost Pastor Carrington last year, but being able to give me the foundation of studying the Word there at church, the principals at my daughter's school, Crossroads, Principal Sutton and Mrs. Marcel, who helped take my kids to school when I was going through surgery, my friend Susie Keel and Jenny, and of course my three beautiful daughters, Ajalon, Milan, and Elon. Just the love of my life. I love them more than I love myself. They are just precious gems. But thank you for having me and just allow me to voice my journey and have a platform to voice my journey. So.
Absolutely. You are always welcome back.
Thank you.
I want to say a few thank yous myself. I want to thank the caller for calling in because that was absolutely unexpected and amazing. I want to thank the poetess, Felicia Morris Media Studios, for having us here, because this has just been truly kind of that gift that I didn't even know I wanted. Like, you know, I feel so blessed to be here and to be on a platform. I want to thank you, Terri, Miss Terri Brooks, for being such an amazing guest. Our January sponsor, which is American Solutions Group. Thank you for sponsoring our show. It really takes sponsors to help us to do what we do and help us kind of give the message and live in our purpose. And also, I want to thank all of the listeners and the viewers. Thank you. Thank you. Whether it's 2 or 2,000 or 20,000 someday, I'm putting it out in the world. You know, I really want to thank you for being here with us and being on this journey. Remember, we are on Thursdays from 10:30 to 11:30 live. Yay! So I don't know how many times I'm going to say live. I mean, yay. But from 10:30 to 11:30, you can find us on Morris Media Live on YouTube as well. But you'll see the links because I'll send them out. And my closing remarks are, I am Kara, and remember to treasure each and every day. Until next time.